What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is taking a look at the last call. This is the 2023 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Widebody Jailbreak. This is the last year for this Charger. Huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this muscle car for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. They have a huge selection of pretty much brand new inventory. That link is down in the description. So this Charger is finished off in B5 blue. MSRPs are right around $85,000. And this is powered by the 6.2 liter supercharged V8. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 717 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 4,500 pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Its top speed is 196 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 12 miles per gallon in the city, 21 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 120 inches. Its overall length is 201. It has a width of 78.3, a height of 57.6, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.5 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Charger, let's start off with all the functional inlets that are located up front. So up on the hood, there is a functional inlet right in the middle with 2 heat extraction vents on both sides and a very nice bulge for that inlet in the middle, just to give it more of that aggressive look. And then the cutouts continue for both the upper grille, lower grille, middle section, and then both trim accents on each side, so you can get maximum cooling to that supercharged V8. This also has a set of LED headlights with the DRLs and turn signals. Very nice sleek housing to match the thinness of that upper grille. There's the SRT badge, and then some nice contoured lines in the lower section as well as running right through the middle. So not a whole lot to the front end. It's mainly for that function to provide a lot of cooling. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 20-inch wheels. They are 11 inches wide with that double 5-spoke design to them. Massive SRT Brembo brake calipers finished off in red. There's the Hellcat badge just behind that. And being the wide body, this is about 3 inches wider per side, so 6 inches wider overall, with those massive fender flares to accommodate those wheels. Now this has a set of gloss black for the side mirrors. There's a sunroof up top. All the window trim is black too. And then for the rest of the design, has that classic Charger design with that very prominent line that wraps its way around the door all the way back up to that rear spoiler. Gives it a really cool look. You have to go wide body for the Charger. I think that just adds to its presence from the side. And then last up, this has a massive trunk mounted spoiler finished off in blue. There's a backup camera, the LED bar that runs right through the trunk, along with the LED brake lights, turn signals are right in the middle there. There's all the parking sensors, and then the dual exhaust is located down in the lower section. Now you can remote start this, so let's take a listen to that V8. We'll lock it, double tap this, bring it to life. And then you can also use that control to shut it off if you need to. You can use the key fob to open up the trunk lid as well, or use this button over on the right side. You can push on that and it will automatically release. Now this is a family style sedan, so there's plenty of space with those back seats up. You have a lot of room to put in any items really. There's a hook over on this side, so if you have any bags, they won't slide around. And then there's even a little bit of storage underneath the floor. There's also access to the battery, and then you can also fold down those back seats to give you that much more space. So it's a very practical vehicle, being a sedan, having a large trunk, and then giving you all of those performance figures I went over earlier. Now let's work our way to the back seats, where the door panel has a great design to it. Paired with this blue, we have the solid red leather interior. So there's the two-tone design for this door panel with all the stitching, a little bit of storage down below. There's chrome for that release handle, and then a small accent just underneath the armrest. And then the red leather seats, very large too. So they are going to be extremely comfortable. They are also heated as well. There's some auxiliaries, climate vents, even storage pockets. And at 5'10", I have plenty of space for my feet. I have about an inch or so above my head. If you're taller than me, it might be a little bit crammed, but it's a wide seat. So for my height, I could definitely be comfortable riding around in the back and having 2 people next to me here. Pretty open in the back too. Pillars are pretty thin, so you get a lot of light. No armrest in the middle, however, so you just have the storage up there and then your drink holders in the door there. But it's definitely very roomy I like the seats too, very plush feeling. For the front door panel, everything is identical, but there's the memory seating controls, window adjustments, side mirror controls, and then a little bit more storage in that lower section. And then for these SRT front seats, a lot more lateral support to them, and they are automatic, so all of those controls are down on the side. And it's a very low vehicle to enter and exit. Now the steering wheel has perforated and solid leather with all of these brush trim accents. On this left side, there's Bluetooth and voice commands, and then on the right side, all the cruise control settings. There's also paddle shifters, and it still retains volume and tuning adjustments. So those are underneath both of the paddle shifters. Let's fire this back up though with that red button. So as you can tell, we have the red backlit for the tach as well as the miles per hour, and then a massive LCD screen right in the middle. Currently it's on fuel economy if you choose to look at that. There's also trip information. You can get into your audio, any messages. If you go into the screen setup, you can actually configure upper left, upper right. You can go through this and display what you would like to see in either of these areas, which is really nice to have. There's a speed warning, any diagnostics that you need to view. You can pull up the speedometer, vehicle information, where you have a lot of vitals that you can scroll through. So right at your fingertips, you can quickly go through all of that along with your performance. So you have a lot of timers that you can look at, as well as your braking distance, G-force meters, lap timers. And then over on this left side, there's the headlight adjustments, dimmer switches, a release for the trunk. You even have the manual foot brake, so you can use that as needed. There's some carbon fiber trim accents just behind the gauge cluster there with some leather and stitching. And then right in the middle, we have the infotainment system where you have settings in the bottom here, which you can actually configure. So you can drag and drop depending on what you use the most. We have the climates, media, you can go into your heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, you can go into apps. So all of these you can drag and drop to the bottom. Let's go into the SRT dashboard where you have drive modes that you can look at. So you have track, sport, custom. You can go through all of that to configure this as needed, which is awesome to see. If we go back into that SRT dashboard, you have performance pages. This takes a little bit of time to load, and once it loads, you have a lot more info that you can go through. You have home where you can monitor this information. You can go into timers, look at some other gauges, pull up your G-force meter. You have some engine data and then a dyno as well. And if we exit back out of that, we can even go into the race options too for your line lock, launch control, shift light, and your race cooldown. So this vehicle is ready to go from the factory to do some drag racing and do some spirited driving events. You also have a performance page tab. You can go through settings, some other general information for daily driving. You can also pull up the navigation too, and then you have some settings that you can go into. So a lot of info within that system there. There's an air vent on both sides, more of that carbon fiber trim. Underneath that, there's power and volume for the radio as well as tuning. You have a shortcut to SRT, which I showed earlier, launch control, parking sensors, even traction control. And then all the climate adjustments are laid out very well underneath that with your fan speed, temperature, some defrosters. There's a little bit of space down below with a 12 volt, some storage on the right side of the shifter. If I put this into reverse now, backup camera is very large. There's some guidelines there too that will help. You can also shift using the shifter itself, or you can use those paddle shifters. There's a little bit of storage right in the middle where you can place 2 drinks, maybe your phone or something thin right in the middle. And then with the armrest, you have a lot more space and some auxiliaries so you can charge electronics. Plenty of space in the glove box with that split style design to it. There's also the only Jailbreak logo on this entire vehicle. It's over on that passenger side with the red backlit there. And then up top, there's a few call buttons. There's also a sunglass holder, there's the dome lights, and then the controls for the sunroof. And the sunshade is manual, so you can easily do that. And as far as visibility goes, those pillars are very thin. So it's very open feeling for this family style muscle car. But now let's go ahead and get this out on the road. As we set off now behind the wheel for this last year for the Charger, it's always awesome when I get to drive these because I think this is a really cool family style sedan, but it also gives you the Hellcat. We have over 700 horsepower to those rear wheels. If you want a highly performance oriented vehicle, but you have a family, you need the space of the back seats, that massive trunk, this is a perfect option to go with. It is pretty pricey, but when you factor in the performance that you get compared to other vehicles, I don't know of any other family style sedan that has this much performance oriented technology from a factory vehicle. So once you break it in, that's it. You're ready to go. You can go have some spirited fun with this. You can drag race it. It's a pretty cool overall well-rounded vehicle. So when you're ready, you can drop a few gears. You can hear that supercharger whine, a little bit of that exhaust. And the pedals are pretty responsive too. It's interesting that they are just the upper half there, but it still gives you those controls underneath, which I think again is a good blend for this style vehicle. So now that we're out on the road, it drives just like a normal Charger would. This is something that you can absolutely daily drive. If you tone it down into some of the less horsepower settings, you can just drive this every day. It's something that is a commuter vehicle, not the best on MPG. But if you're buying this, MPG is not something that is on your radar because, let's face it, you want the miles per gallon with the performance that this has. But you can drive this every day, and then when you're ready, have some fun with it. It has a lot more potential than what I'm throwing at it today. These are pretty quick cars. They're also heavy too. So I will say that's one of its biggest downsides is how much they weigh. You can have all the horsepower you want, but that weight, it's still got to push it somehow. It's a quick car though, don't get me wrong. 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. That is pretty quick by today's standards. But it's also very comfortable and quiet. I will say, let's talk about the interior here real quick, because a lot of people I've seen comment, for the money, you don't have the best interior. That's the comments that I've seen. I could argue it either way. I think it's nice for what it is. This isn't a luxury focused style vehicle. It's geared towards the performance. But in this one here, I think it has a nice interior. You get the leather seats, all the leather, carbon fiber. There's really, if there's any plastic, it's well hidden. So we have some leather material on top of what should be plastic. Dash has the same thing. I think it's nice. And unfortunately, we're not going to see an update for this unless Dodge decides to bring out some kind of hybrid or electric Charger or something like that. From what we're all seeing with this last call, there is going to be no more Dodge Charger. So if you want one, you're gonna have to find one and get it while you can. Because unfortunately, with some regulations and whatever's going on behind the scenes, this is going to be it for the 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Kind of sad to see. I'm not a huge muscle car fan, but I do enjoy driving these when I can. It's definitely something that is cool to see. And with it in second gear, here we go. And up to speed, you can hear some of that supercharger whine, a little bit of the exhaust. I have heard these with aftermarket exhausts and they just sound so mean. What I love about these Hellcats as well is that they are relatively easy to mod. So if you're looking to get a little bit more power out of your Hellcat, couple pulleys, upgraded pulleys, some things like that, really not a whole lot, and you can easily get these up to 1,000 wheel horsepower. So if you're interested in drag racing these, you want a little bit more power, it's something that can easily be done. And now that we're driving this $85,000 Dodge Charger, it's definitely nice. It's been a comfortable ride so far. These seats are very wide, so they're almost like a couch. This is a big vehicle. It's not something that is small by any means. So seats are even big too, just to hold you well. You can be much bigger than me and fit comfortably in this driver's seat. You have very quick responding shifts. With this transmission. So it's going to be something that super quick off the line and just an all-around best of both worlds. Performance oriented, family oriented, and it is expensive, but if this is something that you are going to enjoy, get it while you can. That's going to wrap it up though for the 2023 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Widebody Jailbreak last call. It's a mouthful, but here it is. Huge thanks again to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.